is not the way you want to end the first half of the season.
We look at the record. The record speaks for itself.
That's not an environment anybody wants to walk in.
If Magic Johnson is in that seat, guys are going to want to come play.
Magic has never been a person to hold anything back.
We want to be better, and moving forward, we will be better.
What should happen if the team doesn't start contending?
Ladies and gentlemen, Oden.
I thought he was going to probably be the best center to ever play the game of basketball.
You see why, everybody wanted him on this team.
Greg went down and holy cow, Portland doesn't need this.
I'll be remembered as the biggest bust in NBA history, but I can't do nothing about that.
Welcome to Outside the Lines. I'm Ryan Smith in for Bob Lee. Well, if you thought the Los Angeles Lakers couldn't get any worse, they can. Last night, down 22 in the first, 30 by the third. They looked like they couldn't beat a college team. Demolished by the Phoenix Suns, 137-101. Those Suns are only one of two teams worse than the Lakers this season. All of those years of Showtime, Shaq and Kobe and three-peats seem like a distant memory now. So how did Forbes' second most valuable NBA franchise show fans they're serious about returning to prominence? By bringing Magic Johnson back into the fold. Showtime is back. The ultimate Laker taking a seat in the front office of the NBA's glamour franchise, signing on as advisor to owner Jeannie Buss. So naturally, everybody wonders, what does advisor mean? Does he have a say over what happens to Jeannie's brother, Jim Buss, head of basketball operations and part owner of the club, presiding over a Laker team with the worst record in the West since he's run the show? Now, Magic dropped a few hints about that when he stopped by ESPN on Tuesday.
Somebody has to be held accountable for where we are. So that's one of my jobs, is to say, hey, you made some mistakes. And if you don't own up to making mistakes, we can't move forward.
At the top, things have to change, and you have to think differently.
So is this meeting, is it about you saying, I need to be the voice of the Los Angeles Lakers?
I will put that on the table.
How do you think Jim Buss is going to feel about that? Because before the season, Jeannie intimated that if the wins weren't there, her brother could be gone.
He puts a lot of pressure on himself, and he said that if he can't get things going in the right direction, that he would step down.
And if Jeannie Buss has Magic running the show, he seems to want to make big moves right away.
First call I'll make, if I'm in charge, Kobe Bryant, because Kobe understands winning.
All right, Kobe understands winning. So can Magic, if he takes over, can he bring this group of youngsters back to prominence? Can he make them NBA champions? Let's turn to ESPN senior writer Ramona Shelburne and Bill Oram from the Orange County Register, who wrote that a flawed Jim Buss deserves better than Jeannie's Magic Johnson maneuver. Okay, guys, Ramona, I want to start out with you. Let's just ask this question right off the bat. Can Magic Johnson fire Jim Buss?
Magic Johnson could fire Jim Buss if Jeannie Buss gives him that authority. Right now,
so
Magic Johnson is taking his cues from Jeannie Buss. She has not given him that authority yet. She's given him the authority to go meet with him. And in the release where they announced this role that he was in, it was such a wide breadth of roles that he could play. But it was very clear that he reports to Jeannie Buss. And right now, I actually spoke to Irvin about this a couple days ago, and he said, I'm taking my cues from Jeannie Buss. And when she tells me that I have the authority to make decisions, I would. But right now, she's the one making decisions, and her decision is to have Magic by her side and helping to advise and consent. But right now, he can't. Obviously, though, when Jeannie Buss brought him in, with the history that Magic Johnson has had with Jim Buss and the Lakers, with Mitch Kupchak, with the criticism that he's been very vocal about over the years, if you're Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak, you're sitting back and saying, okay, I know what this guy's here for. He's here to be the bad guy. He's here to do the dirty work that Jeannie Buss has sort of positioned herself to do. And I think it's just a matter of time before those types of moves are made. The question is really, do both Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak go, or do they get reassigned? And I think that's really what's on the table going forward.
Trying to imagine Magic Johnson as a henchman, but we know he's tough as nails in business. Now, Bill, I want to turn to you because you've said, hey, Jim doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. But remember back in 2013, he said, hey, if this team is not back in a prominent position, if they're not on top, then he might step down.
Well, I absolutely never said that Jim Buss doesn't deserve to go. I mean, you look at the
no,
moves,
I mean his
the series
treatment,
of moves he's made over the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you consider the fact that Jim Buss is still the executive vice president of basketball operations, Mitch Kupchak is still the general manager. They still are empowered to operate at the deadline next week. But Magic Johnson comes in and he's out publicly saying that he wants to do that job. It really undermines the authority that Jim Buss has and still has. If Jeannie Buss wants to fire her brother and replace him with Magic Johnson, that's one thing. But I think leaving Jim Buss hanging out to dry like this and really humiliating him and publicly in such a public manner is really kind of beneath what I think we've come to expect from the Lakers organization.
And that's by his own sister. Is that what they're trying to do? Is that what Jeannie Buss is trying to do, Ramona, in your opinion? Is she trying to humiliate Jim?
I don't know if I would say humiliate, but there's a long family drama here. And let's go back even a few years to when Phil Jackson was maybe going to take over as coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Didn't get that call. Remember the famous "I got roused late at night" by Mitch Kupchak telling me they decided to go in another direction with Mike D'Antoni. Now, Phil Jackson and Jeannie Buss have since separated, right? They're not engaged anymore, but Jeannie Buss was there that night, and I know that was very hurtful to her in terms of how Phil Jackson was treated and even just how she was treated, because she was obviously excited about the idea of Phil coaching the team again. To use the word humiliation, I would say Jeannie and Phil were probably somewhat embarrassed or humiliated by the way they were treated there. Is this turnabout as fair play? I would say that you have to consider the entire family history and drama when you're evaluating what's going on right now. And you look at what Magic Johnson was brought in here to do. Is he said he's having a meeting with Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss on Monday after the All-Star break. That's 3 days before the trade deadline. I know that he has been in touch with Mitch Kupchak and Luke Walton and Jim Buss in advance of this. So he's already involved in some of the decision-making that they have. But you approach Thursday's trade deadline, he's already involved. And I think that you have to look at, they see the writing on the wall. They understand what's happening here. The question is, can they work together with him? Will Jeannie Buss even allow that? Or is this just sort of the calm before the storm?
All right, so he's hitting the ground running. But, Bill, I have to ask you, we talk about drama. And we've talked about drama in connection with another franchise on the other coast from L.A., but a lot of people say with that team, hey, free agents aren't going to want to come because of all that drama. If there's ownership drama in L.A., we know the free agents weren't coming to L.A. before. Are they going to be concerned about coming to L.A. now?
Well, we've certainly seen that in past summers when kind of this two-pronged leadership structure really hasn't attracted anyone. There's been a clear divide at the top with Jeannie Buss running business, her brother Jim running basketball. And so one real advantage to bringing Magic Johnson in to oversee things, if that is in fact what he ends up doing, is he is a Jeannie Buss ally. You are going to have a synchronicity at the top where Jeannie Buss is going to have an ally running basketball, unlike now where there is such a clear divide. So I think there will be, with Magic Johnson, there will be a stronger unified message to free agents. Free agents will be able to look at Magic Johnson and Jeannie Buss and say they are teammates, whereas obviously everyone knows what the issues between Jeannie and Jim have been over the years. But I think there are a lot of questions about Magic Johnson as a basketball executive. He doesn't have a track record in a front office. He hasn't held a position like that before. So for him to come in and say that he is the best person to do it, he should be doing that job, he may very well prove to be successful at that, but he doesn't have the track record to stand on and apply for that job.
Yeah, Magic is talking about a 3 to 5. Magic's talking about a 3 to 5 year window for being successful. Ramona, do you think he and fans are going to be that patient?
I don't think anyone's going to be that patient because this is now 4. If they go to the lottery this year, that's 4 years in the lottery. If they even get to keep their pick, because it's only top 3 protected. If it falls outside the top 3, it goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I think one of the things that Bill was talking about, which is right on, and what this franchise has to think about, this is not the type of thing where Magic Johnson can just wave a wand or throw a no-look pass and fix things. They need a whole-scale infrastructure change. They need the connective tissue between business and basketball. People don't think that matters all that much. Well, it matters a ton, especially when you have last summer, where the Lakers and their fans had been sort of positioned to land a marquee free agent for the last couple of years. They've struck out. This summer, it comes up where Jeannie Buss is the one talking to all the business partners and everybody else. Okay, we have money. They're great free agents. And they end up with Luol Deng and Timofey Mozgov. And it happened in the first day of free agency. Mozgov happened 45 minutes into free agency. Deng happens a day into free agency.
And neither of them have panned out.
The cable TV network that's paying them all that money, right? Jeannie Buss has no idea that they're going to end up with mediocre 30-something free agents because, quite simply, the basketball side and the business side aren't talking to each other.
All right. Now, Ramona, I know you're at the All-Star game. A lot of developments going on in the NBA right now. I want to ask you about this. Take a look at what Draymond Green said about that aforementioned team on the East Coast, the New York Knicks, and that Oakley Dolan drama. Take a look.
Why is it all of a sudden a problem now when he speak out on something that he don't like? And now you want to disown him from your entire organization. That's a slave mentality. You're doing it for me, it's all good. But now you're doing it against me, or not necessarily against me, but you're speaking out against my organization. It's not good anymore. That's a slave mentality, slave master mentality.
Ramona, we only have a few seconds. What is everybody saying down there about those comments?
Well, that's obviously a very charged language from Draymond Green, and I understand it because every player I've talked to is really upset about the situation with Charles Oakley. Adam Silver, though, did step in. Adam Silver and Michael Jordan stepped in to sort of broker something, and I think the door is open for Oakley to return to the Knicks in some sort of have a relationship, at least, with the Knicks. And I think that the hope out there right now is that everybody can get on the same page to where something like that never happens again.
All right, Bill, Ramona, thank you. We appreciate it. And turning to an update on a developing story on Michigan State, police have requested arrest warrants for 3 unnamed Michigan State football players involved in sexual assault allegations. The school's already suspended the trio from all team activities and begun a Title IX investigation. No criminal charges have been filed following a sexual assault complaint made in late January.
I'll be remembered as the biggest bust in NBA history, but I can't do nothing about that.
The choice was Greg Oden or Kevin Durant in the 2007 draft. Now, you may know about Durant, but when we return, Greg Oden's personal journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Oden.
Feeds it in the lane. Oden back up, dumped and fouled.
Finds his way for two-hand flush. Goodness gracious.
Oden up, dunk.
Oden at the rim, a two-hand jam.
He was supposed to revolutionize the center position in the NBA. Greg Oden, a 7-foot, 250-pound behemoth who could do it all, be it running the floor or dominating in the post. You can't blame the Portland Trailblazers for taking him with the #1 pick in the draft over Kevin Durant in 2002. Now, as many compare Durant and Oden as they do Michael Jordan and Sam Bowie, Oden shares with Jeff Goodman the rise and fall of his basketball life.
Greg Oden was supposed to be the next Bill Russell, the next Shaq, the next Hall of Fame center. Oden led Ohio State to the 2007 national title game in his only college season and was selected ahead of Kevin Durant at the 2007 NBA draft.
The Portland Trailblazers select Greg Oden from Ohio State University.
He was instant NBA royalty. And the next big thing.
My accompanist, Gregory Oden.
How would you describe your career now?
I don't have one right now. I mean, I'm back here in school.
But now, just 10 years after being drafted, Oden is back in Columbus working towards his degree.
You taking a full course load?
I am. I'm actually taking 16 credit hours, and I think full-time is 15. Basketball-wise, I would love to keep on playing, but I think you need to be able to run up and down the floor, and with my knees dragging my big body, it's just not going that way right now.
So when you were drafted #1, you go to Portland, your knee starts to swell up. What happened?
One day, knee was fine. The next day, it was just blown up. You know, I've never had knee problems or microfractures or stuff before then. So I wish I could pinpoint something that happened that summer, but I can't. It just happened.
Oden missed his entire rookie season after microfracture surgery on his right knee. He came back in 2008, averaging 9 points and 7 rebounds, but began struggling with alcohol.
I drank because I had a bad game. But then I would drink because I had a good game to celebrate. I didn't know how to handle it. It's just a situation I was put in, being a #1 draft pick, you know, all these expectations.
But on the court, Oden was on his way back. He finally began to look the part of a franchise center, starting the first 21 games of the 2009 season. But then came arguably the most crushing blow to his NBA career.
Greg went down and, his knee is... Holy cow, Portland doesn't need this.
I was going up to block a shot against Houston, and when I jumped and the force going through my legs, it literally just split my kneecap in half.
Oden would have season-ending surgery. Then, 2 months later, naked pictures that he sent to a woman surfaced on the internet.
When those pictures came out, I don't think I left my house or even my bedroom for a week. I was ashamed, like everybody saw those pictures.
3 more knee surgeries, 2 of them major, didn't help. On March 15, 2012, he was waived by the Trailblazers.
It brought me down to some low places. Guys played more games in my whole entire career in one season, and I had it spread out over 5 years with nothing but pain pills and alcohol. That's all I had.
Oden spent the entire 2012-2013 season trying to get healthy. Miami took a chance and signed him to a minimum salary deal. Oden made his Heat debut on January 15, 2014, more than 4 years after his last NBA game.
I don't think my knees, after everything I've been through, are ever going to be 100%. But they got it to the point where I can actually start playing. That was just an awesome situation to be a part of, because that's all I really cared about was just winning.
Chalmers finds Oden. Look out below.
While he only averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds in just 23 games, Oden says he was ecstatic just to be back on the court. But that offseason in his hometown of Lawrence, Indiana, he was charged with battery after allegedly punching his ex-girlfriend Christina Green. In a police report regarding the incident, Oden said, "Things got out of control and I started to go after Christina. My mother and Tony tried to hold me back, but I swung my arms to move them out of the way and then punched Christina in the face. I was wrong, and I know what has to happen."
I have a little girl, I have a fiance, and I don't want that situation to happen to them. So it's something I went through, and I got to just move on forward and try to be better from here on out.
Oden reached a plea deal and was forced to pay a fine, attend domestic violence and alcohol counseling, and was placed on probation. After Oden's domestic violence charge, the Heat didn't bring him back. With his options limited, he decided to play in China last season.
I went over there very healthy, actually. It was the lowest I weighed in a long time. I was moving really good. I felt really good going over there. And then my second preseason game, I broke my thumb. Of course, something happens to me.
Oden returned from China and took stock of his life. A shell of his former self, he decided to shut the door on his career.
Come on, come here.
Now, back at Ohio State, he's a sports industry major and a student assistant coach.
I've been through a lot, you know. I guess I can say it's a lot. You know, I'm still 28, so I'm still young. I'm going to get my degree. And I'm going to be around and be a part of this Ohio State program. You got to get big and make it available.
When you hear people say, you know, biggest bust in NBA history, what do you think?
I mean, technically, yeah. Well, what can I say? I am. Comparing it to what KD has done, which is phenomenal, you have to say that.
I disagree with that. You know, getting injured a few times, that's the only reason why he's still not in the NBA. That's no reason to call him a bust, you know, because if he was out there healthy on the court, you could see the impact that he had. Everybody could see that.
I don't think I was that bad when I was on the court, and I feel like it could have just got better if I had more time on there. I'll be remembered as the biggest bust in NBA history, but I can't do nothing about that.
The 2007 top NBA draft pick says he's finally at peace with where he is now. Like most college sophomores, Oden's not yet sure what he wants to do with the rest of his life. However, he's taking care of his money, has millions of dollars in the bank, so he says he doesn't feel pressure to have it all figured out just yet. Well, up next, Tom Brady got 5 Lombardi trophies, a supermodel wife, and commercial endorsements. So what more does he need? Well, guess who's come calling now?
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Geico's been around for more than 75 years, back when they were using Morse code. Sorry, that's just my sense of humor. What's more, with Geico you get 24/7 access to licensed agents on the app, online, or over the phone, so you can talk to them at night or in the morning. So forevermore, just know that no other auto insurer has more than Geico. More power to you. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Michael Smith and Jamel Hill want you to join them weeknights for the new 6 o'clock Sports Center on ESPN. They're bringing their own brand of style and personality. You're talking sports, music, movies, more. The 6, also available streaming live on ESPN app. And then at 7, number 11 Wisconsin battling Michigan. Then take you to Eugene for Utah versus the Dylan Brooks-led number 7 Oregon Ducks. Both streaming on the ESPN app. Well, apparently all of you just can't get enough of Tom Brady. Best quarterback of his generation, 5 Super Bowl rings, those movie star good looks, blah, blah, blah. Wait, I know. We should make a movie about Tom Brady. Oh, it looks like somebody beat us to it. Deadline.com is reporting that the producers of 2010's Oscar-nominated film The Fighter have a book and a movie in the works that's expected to detail Tom Brady's, quote, historic and record-breaking comeback win over the Atlanta Falcons, end quote. Take that, Atlanta, again. But Pats fans, this is too good to be true, right? You can just let your imagination run wild. But remember, casting is everything. After all, what would Batman be without Ben Affleck? Let's start with Brady. Who is more perfect than this guy? Oh, yeah, New England's own Matt Damon. And by the way, Tom's got to have a better half in the movie, right? But who could possibly compare to Giselle? Let's just let Giselle be Giselle, don't you think? That was easy. And what about the owner, the yin to Brady's yang, Bob Kraft? Take a look. Couldn't you just see Richard Dreyfuss selling the Tom Brady's jersey as like a Picasso or a Chagall line? And, oh, of course, every hero needs a good foil, Roger Goodell. Let's get a charismatic redhead in the picture. No, not Luke Wilson. Only Conan O'Brien would fit the bill. And if you're casting Goodell, you got to have somebody in there to deflate the footballs, right? The deflators? Annie Wahlberg will do. You know, all of them can act, right? And this story just wouldn't be complete without the coach, the man in charge, the general himself, the smartest guy in the room. Who, I ask you, could rise to that level? Oh, yeah. ESPN's in-house general, only Bob Lee will do. You know he's got the poker face, and doesn't he look just great in that hoodie? Same hair, too. Just hope that hoodie doesn't mess up that coif. I'm Brian Smith. We miss you, Bob. You're our general, of course. NFL Insider's coming up next.